This film is about passion, about understanding enjoyment as the measure of all things. This passion is embodied by the Bremer Hachez Schokolade GmbH und Co. KG as the quintessence of exclusivity and inspiration. Hachez is today again under the ownership of two Bremen merchants who've set the maxim of free enterprise above the restrictive structures of a career in a big corporation. The two Hachez owners understand their business as an experience of enjoyment that involves all the senses. Ever since the company was founded by Joseph Emil Hachez in the year 1890, the fine raw materials have come from the tropical regions of South America, the area of origin of the fine cocoa from which Hachez conjures up its chocolate dreams, and from which stem the recipes for success with which a long history of a Bremen company has been written. Oh, divine chocolate! With these words of the Spanish poet Marco Antonio Preliana, we now invite you to follow us into the ever-luxuriant home of the cocoa fruit. Starting with the harvest of the cocoa, only the very best is selected so that later on at Hachez, this is brought to perfection with the same passion. After the beans have been fermented and dried, they're sent off on their long journey to the old world. The precious raw material is here already eagerly expected by the Hachez cocoa experts. With eyes that miss nothing, the experts check the color of the beans, as well as their moisture content and the content of bitter substances. It's exactly these bitter substances, as well as the painstaking process of bringing out the hidden aromas of the beans, that lead to the ah and the oh of superfine chocolate à la Hachez. Cocoa beans can well be compared with uncut diamonds, since it's only the expert cutting of the facets that makes them into sensual objects of desire. Sophisticated shaking processes gently separate the shell of the cocoa from the nib, the real reservoir of the stimulating flavor substances. Before this, under the personal supervision of the master roaster, the beans are roasted in batches, depending on the different moisture contents, in order to achieve the aroma optimum. After this gentle processing in the traditional spherical roaster, the cocoa beans leave the hot air stream to be united with the other fine ingredients in the mélangeur. The fine mixture produced here is now ground over 5 rollers to a degree of fineness of 1/14,000th of a millimeter. The result is a superfine powder mixture. With this mixture, we allow ourselves all the time in the world to produce a chocolate with the most delicate mellowness. All of 72 hours in the so-called conche. Elsewhere, horizontally traveling, titurating rollers slowly rock back and forth. Glossy chocolate masses move. Drums and mixers rotate and give rise to compositions for chocolate enjoyment in its purest form, unadulterated and far, far from the commonplace. The personal dedication of our employees produces the exclusive creations that come up to the Hachez standard. We see this as both craftsmanship and art in equal measure. To create something new without forgetting the old values is for Hachez just as much a part of the brand image as the brand itself. Tradition and modern is therefore not a contradiction in terms at Hachez, but a symbiosis for enjoyment. Inspired through the autumn leaves, slowly falling from the trees, in 1923 a classic was born, Hachez Brown Leaves. In the meantime, this classic product also stands for the continuity and spirit of our times of the Hachez brand. The facets of the master chocolate maker, Hachez, shown here, are only possible in a harmonious environment which allows each individual to express his or her love of chocolate. Attention to detail plays an especially important role in the case of the brown leaves from Hachez. This is why the leaves always present their upper side to the connoisseur when the pack is later reopened. Hachez, crafting fine chocolate since 1890.